Everyone talks about what tools they have in their sales tech stack. On this episode, we're going to highlight 3 challenges that we see when it comes towards sales tech stacks that your team has. And sometimes they're vocalizing this and sometimes they're not. Hopefully this can help you. When it comes towards our sales tech stacks, we find that people have their challenges. We have our difficulties, we have our problems. And on this episode, we're going to highlight 3 of those common challenges and help you to be able to fix them so your sales tech stack can be smooth sailing, can roll in the dough, make you the money, whatever analogy you want to use. Let's go ahead and check it out. Now, the 3 common issues that I'm seeing when it comes towards the sales tech stack is 1, can I use it? People are asking, can I use this tool? Do I need to use this tool? Why do I have this tool? Number 2, people are trying to take a nice sales tool and use it to cover up poor selling. And then number 3, too many. We have too many tools in our sales tech stack. Oftentimes you find RevOps and certain teams will figure out we're going to get this amazing new tool and we're going to have the sales rep use it whether they like it or not because it's going to help them. It's going to grow the organization. If it's a small company, the CEO found something that she loves. If it's maybe it's a mature team or whatnot, you maybe find a sales leader, a VP of sales, CRO. He found something and he's like, man, this is great. We're going to get a team to use this. It's going to be amazing. Now come back down to the sales reps. We're thinking about this. We're doing our process. We're using something already, but then now all of a sudden we get something else that's thrown in the mix of it. 1, we need to learn what that is. And then 2, we need to implement it in our solution. How is it going to work with the way that I currently sell? And oftentimes teams may not necessarily gravitate towards that tool, and then we find that it's abandoned. I mean, one of the clients, one of my friends I was speaking with, they were talking about it, like about their company, global organization, and their adoption rate, I think it's around that 30 to 40% where people are utilizing tools. Like, think about that. That's nuts. Like, you tell me 70% of your team's not utilizing the solution. Like, what's going on? Why we have it in the first place? Now, one of the interesting pieces is that people have those tools and they're using it. I mean, so they have those tools and they've seen some success with it, but it's not necessarily, I guess it's giving enough success that it justifies using it, but the adoption across the organization isn't there. And I feel that it's a disservice to the organization. It could be better. It's like, yes, it's working, but could we do a lot better with it? Yes. And I think there comes like more education or even finding out the team, like how the team is performing right now. What is the team doing? How's their sales process? Like, what does the individual rep do? And then kind of going from there, because if you can figure out what each individual rep's doing and kind of get a survey and get an understanding, it makes sense before you invest in a new sales tool in your sales tech stack. Like, it may not necessarily be needed for your organization right now. And I'm telling you from my standpoint as the CEO of my organization and somebody who oversees our sales, I tend to find cool tools and I want to adopt them, but my team doesn't need them. I remember when we brought some folks in and we did a demo and our team, they jumped on the demo. It was cool. They liked it. We were going to use the tool, but it just didn't make sense for us at the time. And I think sometimes I need to just, and the sales leaders need to just recognize, like, it may not necessarily be something that's going to be good for my organization right now. And I should shelf that or table it for later and focus on the things that's working right now. Get that better before we start adding new things on. I use LinkedIn Sales Navigator and I love it. And I did a poll and I asked individuals, 3 things, like, do you use Sales Navigator? And in the poll questions, 3 answers was 1, yes, it's a must. Number 2, no. And then number 3, I have it, but I don't use it. And then number 4 was, what is that? Like, what is Sales Navigator? And from what I saw from that, it was 46% says, yes, it's a must. And from that percentage, I didn't get a chance to drill down, but I would ask how many of those people are really using it, like, to the fullest potential. And I'd probably say a fraction of them are really doing that. Number 2, the 32% said they're not using it, don't use it. And then 12% said they have it and they don't use it. Now, this was a small subset. It was a 90 individual in this survey. But I think about it from a sales team standpoint, and I look at that 12% 46%, and that 46%, I mean, that's 58% of the people are using Sales Navigator. A large portion of them said they're using it to the best of their ability. But I still find that, in my view and in my experience, that probably about half of them, I'd probably say about at least half, are not using it to their full potential, and I'm being very conservative with that. So the point is, and even I fell in that bucket at one point, and where I had Navigator, I was paying for it, but just wasn't using it. And a lot of people may have those sales tools on their may have the same problem, but they're not going to say I don't know how to use it, or perhaps they don't even realize they're not using it to the full potential. It's kind of like those people in a gym who are utilizing the equipment the wrong way, and they've been doing it for so long that they feel that this is right, but this is not the right way to use it. I think that's what happened with that first one. Sometimes we find organizations will get a sales tool to cover up a bad habit. So if you don't know how to sell, a sales tool is not going to make you a better seller. Is that controversial? But think about it. If you have LinkedIn Sales Navigator and you're going to reach out and do email to people, if you don't know how to write a good email, if you don't know how to create value, if you don't know how to help somebody to recognize a problem, it doesn't matter if you have LinkedIn, 100 email this month. You're going to blow it, and it's going to suck, and you're going to do the same thing because you don't know how to do that. So again, I talk about the idea of helping us to be able to help salespeople be able to master fundamental selling first, which is one of our core things. If you can master the fundamentals, then you can add on the tech tools. It's kind of like taking a fast car and, we're going to put NOS on it because we want to do better. But dude, if you can't drive, it doesn't matter if you can go faster. It is going to be faster, horrible. And it's just like with the sales tool. If you can't sell, you're just going to do crappier email at scale, faster and automated. And that's horrible. So what I want you to do is that common issue. If you're a sales leader, I want you to make sure your team basically knows the fundamentals. And if you're an individual rep, before you start jockeying for a new sales tech tool, like something else in your sales tech stack, find out first, can I do this without it? If you can do this or perform the basic without it, then you can improve. If you can write great email and get response, bro, come on, let's get that Navigator thing going at InMail. If you can answer and utilize, if you can't coach your team, it doesn't matter if you have Gong or whatnot. You're not going to necessarily coach them better if you can't help them with basic problems. You know what I mean? So we need to first fix the human part, the skill set piece, and then we can add on a tool to help us out. The final one is too many. I find that oftentimes with sales teams that they have so many tools in their tech stack. Go back to the adoption rate we talked about, so many tools that they're not even utilizing them. They're scratching the surface on all of them, and they're not getting down to the real usage of each of them. And I feel we can do a better job at that. Again, some of the things you can do is a best practice thing. So ask, maybe when one of your sales meeting, you can have everyone, or this last 10 minutes or one of the little training, get what's working for some of the team members, specifically around tech stack. So if we have a team, our BDR team of 10 people or whatnot, you can maybe ask everyone to talk about what's their favorite tool in our sales tech stack, or what's working for you. How are you utilizing that? Are there any tricks or any things that you've learned from a podcast, from a book, or from a webinar or something that you could share with us that can help us out? If that's the case, yeah, take that and now we're sharing knowledge across the whole organization. That is powerful. That's going to be helpful. Maybe you could watch some of the training videos that the vendor has on their website or their YouTube channel that shows about some of their video, shows how to use their tools. Or maybe you can Google it and find out what other sellers are doing, or check in some of the Reddit chat groups or Slack channels that are talking about some ideas or tactics. I mean, there's so many things that you can do, but if you can utilize this and if you can do that, you're going to be able to perform much better with those tools in your sales tech stack. Listen, I share stuff like this because I want to help you. I talk about our sponsors and folks who are bringing value to the table because, listen, I've used their tools and they work. I've used the services and I find it beneficial, and I think it could help you out too. Or I've learned about them and I thought this is awesome and this could help out a fellow seller. So I want you to check them out as well. Find all the information in our show notes. Check out our sponsors. Tell them you heard them here on the Sales Evangelist podcast. As always, I want you to find more ideal customers. I want you to know what to say when you reach out to them. I want you to close more deals. But most importantly, I want you to raise your level of thinking and go out and do big things. Thanks so much for listening.